Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 168 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. We're doing one thing every day to get what we want. And this month we are focusing on financial goals, financial well-being, financial health. And today's topic is our 8th key indicator in the area of financial goals. And it is retirement planning, and legacy. What are we leaving when we're no longer here on the planet? What will be left behind? What will we be remembered for? Now, this is an interesting topic, and I actually had a chance to find out what would happen if we dropped dead and we hadn't planned and prepared for our legacy, and what's different now versus that. Not many people get that opportunity, but I was fortunate enough that I did get that opportunity to think about and realize what kind of a legacy I personally want to leave. And I changed a whole lot of things about my life following my sudden cardiac arrest. What I ate, what I did physically, who I hung around with, how I took care of myself. And I really started living based on my priorities, not on the priorities of other people and things around me and things that I thought I should do versus what felt right for me. So retirement planning is another topic, and just our retirement in general is really important to consider, because maybe you want to work forever. I love work. To me, work is play and fun. So although I could have retired, following my sudden cardiac arrest, I chose not to. I chose to jump back into the fray of whole new industries because I was curious about them. I was curious about the internet and the online world. So that's part of what keeps me going. So we have to do things that feel right for us and move us forward in our life and make us a better human being. And I always talk about you're either an example or a warning. And there have been times in my life when I have been a warning of what not to do, how not to literally work yourself to death or stress yourself to death. I've also been an example of how to be a good human being and a good mom and a good grandma and a good leader and a good mentor and a good coach and a good consultant and a good employee. I was an employee for, at least a couple of, almost 3 decades, in addition to having my own businesses. So today, our action item is to think, number one, are you planning for your retirement? Are you planning to retire? And if so, there's some considerations we want to think about. How much money do we need to retire? What does it look like to retire for us and to retire comfortably? There's a lot of people, the vast majority of people have no retirement plans, no retirement funds, no pensions, no 401ks, no nothing, and they think and plan on just living on Social Security. Now, I have some friends and associates that are on Social Security because I'm getting to be that age, right? And it keeps people at the poverty level. It's below the poverty level. So if you're planning just on living on Social Security, you're probably going to have to make some adjustments to your current lifestyle, right? You're going to have to change some of the things that you do and reprioritize some of the things that are important to you as you go into your retirement years. We also have to have health considerations. As we get older, it doesn't have to be that way. It's not that way for everybody, but for the vast majority of people, at least here in America and probably on the planet, as we get older, stuff starts to go wrong. Stuff starts to not function as well as it did. We've accumulated a whole lot of stuff that can cause stress and inflammation and diseases to attack the weaker parts of our body and our system. So as we get older, we gain weight, we don't take as, we're not as active, so we don't take as good a care of ourselves, so we might incur or experience more health challenges and more health issues. So we have to take that into consideration. We want to make sure that and we talked about this yesterday, insurance. Do we have the right kinds of insurance for us as we age? One of the biggest considerations that people forget about is long-term care insurance. And all the actuaries, all the insurance experts and things will tell you there's a whole lot of insurance that we spend more money on than we ever recoup. But one of those that isn't that way is long-term care insurance. Because if you end up in a long-term care home, last time I checked, it was $12,000 to $15,000 a month for long-term care. And that's not if there's a whole lot of things wrong with you. If there's a lot of things wrong with you, then that becomes even more expensive. So it's something to consider. We want to take the steps that we need to plan for our retirement if indeed we plan to retire. I think the vast majority of people that are not retiring aren't retiring because they don't want to retire. They're not retiring because they don't have the financial resources in order to live in a comfortable way or to meet even their most basic needs if they were to stop working now. So the first part is think about your retirement. Do you have a retirement plan? And if so, what is it and how is it going? And do you need to make adjustments to that to make sure that you can live the life you want in your retirement years? Our retirement years are supposed to be the most fun, not the most stressful. And then the whole topic of legacy. Again, I've had a lot of time to think about this, at least, 13 going on 14 years, that I hadn't really considered it before because I never thought I was going to drop dead at 50 and that it would be something that was even a concern for me. I figured I'd live like most of my relatives. My grandma was just shy of 100 years old when she passed away, and she was healthy to the day she died. She just died of old age because everything started to wear out, as it tends to do as we get older. So we want to think about, what do I want to be remembered for? And it's interesting, I was doing some research, and our idiom for today for Supersize Your Business is leave a lasting legacy. And I found a blurb on the 4 or 5 people that have left the biggest legacy on us as humanity. And they're, Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, and Marie Curie, Madame Curie. And if you think about it, it's not because they left fortunes or money to things. It's because of the impact they had on humanity, making the world a better place, leaving things better than they found them. They weren't all necessarily stellar human beings in their personal life, yet they left this incredible legacy for us to learn. They set a great example for us to learn from. So I think as I get older and I'm thinking about my legacy and creating a legacy, I am more interested in the impact I have on people, the impact I have on the world, how I show up in the world. Am I being a good example of a human being, or am I just adding to the fray and negativity that can overtake us sometimes in the world? So think about your legacy and ask yourself, what legacy am I leaving? Am I just going through my life as quickly as I possibly can, or am I just taking care of number one, myself, and not caring how I behave or what I do, what I say, what I think impacts other people, things like that. So I think these are really good subjects. I think they're subjects I personally need to think a little bit more of and do a little more planning for, and be more consciously aware of the impact that I'm making. Maybe sometimes just take a deep breath and say, do I really need to comment on that post? Do I really need to say that? Do I even really need to think that? Because like everybody else, I'm human, and my thoughts are not always 100% altruistic and positive, because stuff happens in our life that tips us over and irritates us, that doesn't go or match our morals and our values, and those are the things that upset us the most, I think. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. Any questions about this, hit me up. Any, questions about what I'm doing personally as far as legacy goes, you're welcome to ask. I'm not going to share it here, but you're welcome to ask me, one-on-one or message me, etc. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I will be with you tomorrow.